Good day to you. Joshua here. Um, as you all know, this is pre-recorded, so today is actually Wednesday, even though it comes out on Sunday. And today it's a little wet. I've noticed it getting cooler here recently. It's not the scorching heat that we were experiencing a few weeks or a few months ago. It's cooling off, and I don't know what your favorite season is, but the fall and the spring are my two favorite seasons. Number one, because I don't like being super cold and I don't like being super hot, so that leaves us with fall and spring. But also, another reason why I like the fall is, now stick with me here with this phrase, but it's one of the most beautiful deaths that you can see. And what I'm talking about is the death of the leaves. I love seeing the trees go from green to oranges and reds and yellows and all types of different colors. But if we're thinking about it, that's death. Those leaves are dying. And I've been thinking about death. And how death can be a beautiful thing sometimes. But before we do that, I want to think about birth. So thinking about death of the leaves of the tree and how things are going to be changing, I thought we could read out of Genesis chapter 1. We go back to the birth of the earth. Starting in Genesis 1, chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, to separate from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the water swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill in the waters and the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, and creeping things, and beasts of the earth, according to their kinds." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. And God saw that everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was the evening, and there was the morning, the sixth day. Here we see the birth of the earth. But, however, this talk today, it's not about birth. It's about death. So go with me to 2 Peter chapter 3 real fast. 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, and then the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the heavenly bodies will be burned up and dissolved, and the earth and the works that are done on it will be exposed." I look forward to the death of the earth. I look forward to when everything will be burned up and it'll be gone. It'll be a beautiful death, because that means all of us will be in heaven. All of us will be with God. So just like the death of the leaves, I look forward to the death of the earth, and how in that moment we will be with God forever. Let me show you one more death, and then the lesson will be yours. One more death. Go with me to Romans chapter 6. Romans chapter 6, starting in verse 5. "For if we have been united with him in a death like this, we shall certainly be united with him in a resurrection like this. We know that our old self was crucified with him in order that the body of sin might be brought to nothing, so that we would no longer be enslaved to sin. For one who has died has been set free from sin. Now if we have died with Christ, we believe that we will also live with him. We know that Christ, being raised from the dead, will never die again. Death no longer has dominion over him. For the death he died to sin, once and for all. But the life he lives to God. So you also must consider yourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus." I don't know how many baptisms you've witnessed, or thinking of your own baptism, if you are a Christian, if you are a child of God. For me, it's a beautiful death, because we have this person who is lost, and they're living according to their flesh, and then they decide that they want to kill that person, that person is going to go away, and they're not going to be here anymore. It is a beautiful death to see someone put off that old person and put on someone new. As Christians, we go through that moment of baptism and how we put off the old person and we put on the new. But don't we have things that need to die in our own lives? I think of there might be some public things that need to die. Maybe you or I, we have struggles with anger or jealousy or divisiveness or just being ugly in public. Maybe those are things that need to die, that need to go away. Maybe it's something personal. Maybe it's something like pornography or an addiction or something that we keep to ourselves. Or maybe it's the way we treat our loved ones behind closed doors. Maybe that personal sin, that personal ugly, maybe it needs to die. And maybe there are things within ourselves that need to die, whether we're lazy or we have bad attitudes. As the leaves here within the next few weeks and few months start to die and they create a beautiful death, I pray and I hope that we look within ourselves, that we can look at some things that they need to have a beautiful death, and that the dying of those things, we become more beautiful, more godly people. So my challenge for you this week, number one, is to look inside yourself and ask yourself, is there anything that needs to die? Is there anything that needs to go away, that shouldn't stick around? And number two, I want you to think of some Bible characters. And if you're with a group of people, maybe discuss, what are some things that died within them? I think of Peter, just an example. We read about Peter in the Gospels and how he was, a loudmouth, and he spoke up. And then I read the books that he wrote, 1st and 2nd Peter, and it's a brand new man. And those things have had a beautiful death within him. I pray that we look at ourselves and we figure out what we need to do. I love you, and if you need anything, let any one of us know. I hope you have a great day.